against the Jews because they didn't want to get hurt themselves.
Philip, do you want to give your point?
They didn't like them because of the way they looked.
Well, I think that we all agree, so should we move on? Okay, differences. What were the differences between Jews and Germans and why? Well, the differences is that Hitler said that the Germans, to be in the army, they had to have blonde hair and blue eyes and other things like that. Also, I think Hitler was judging the Jews because they didn't have blonde hair or blue eyes and other stuff like that.
I agree with Jane because the Germans were strong and powerful, and the Jewish were weak and desperate, and they couldn't really do anything about it.
I disagree. Because I think that there really was no difference in between the Jews and the Nazis. We're all different, but at our core, we're all human beings and we're all the same.
I would like to add on to that. I think that Hitler wanted his own world to be perfect, and the Jews weren't. In his world, they weren't perfect enough for him, and so he split them up in a way that was very rude.
I think that the difference between Jews and Germans is that the Jews were easier to control because they were not as strong and they did not have as much power as the Germans did.
I would like to add on and say that Germany was a powerful country, and they were mad at that they lost World War I, so they had to blame some. So Hitler felt they had to blame someone, and he felt that they had to blame the Jews.
I agree with Caden, but I also think that the main difference in between the Jews and the Germans were their beliefs, and Hitler didn't like the Jews because they didn't have blonde hair and blue eyes.
I agree with you all, but I also think Germans and Jews were different in ways because Jews did have a different religion and different ways of going at things than the Nazis did. But I also agree with Miles, and at the end of the day, we're all humans, and the Nazis didn't want to accept that.
Kylie, what do you think? I'd like to hear what you have to say.
I think the Jews and Germans aren't really different because they are still all human, but they did have different religion and beliefs. Like Bruno and Shmuel were different, but they still were friends.
I would like to go on with that, and that we are all humans, but we're all going to be different in our own kind of ways.
What do you think, Phil?
They had different religions, and they didn't like each other.
Well, I kind of disagree with you on that because the Jews originally did like the Germans before they betrayed them, and yeah.
I think we've wrapped up differences, but what about influences? I think that they can make us choose good or bad choices, like how in the book the Shmuel convinced Bruno to come to the other side of the fence to look for his father, and they sort of just end up.
Which it's kind of the Germans' fault because none of this would have happened in the first place if
It wasn't for the Nazi influence.
I agree with Miles because Hitler made up this idea, and all the Nazis wanted to believe in him because he was strong and wealthy and stuff like that.
I would like to add on that point that it kind of your influence kind of depend on if you let someone influence you, and the Nazis and most Germans let them influence them that Jews were not good people.
I agree with Caden that that one person can influence you in a positive or negative way?
I agree with Cooper, and I also think that it affects our daily lives because if it's bad, if it's a bad influence, then you will act on that bad influence. And for example, from the book, when Bruno saw Shmuel, it brightened his day, but when he saw everything forward, he got disgusted.
I can reflect on Caden's point because at one point someone can be super nice, like the Germans were all super nice until Hitler came along, and then the next day and they came battered, and they were just the worst.
I would like to add on to Holly's statement. I think that influence affect our daily lives because some influencers are like very negative and some like they'll make you like do bad things. But if they're like positive, then they'll help you like have a good day. Do you have anything to add on?
I said people can be influenced by others, like what they do and say. For example, the Nazis were influenced by Hitler and his idea.
I agree with Jaden because the Germans were angry about the Great War and they wanted to blame someone about it, and they chose the Jewish people.
Yeah. What do you think, Philip?
I agree with Carter because they didn't like him. They had somebody. They had to have somebody to blame for this.
Yeah.
Carter, what do you think?
Well, I think a lot of influence comes from the people we're around the most, and the Jews and Germans were not divided until the Holocaust happened. So I think that the Germans kind of like were influencing them to be someone that they weren't because they were punishing them for who they were.
I think that we've all made our point, so let's move on. If the Holocaust never happened, would the world be how it is today? It probably wouldn't be because there'd be a lot more Jews than there was. And nothing bad probably would have happened. I mean, look at the Cold War. They were threatening each other. Us and Russia, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure. Russia were threatening each other with nukes and stuff like that. But that was only a verbal war and nothing bad actually happened.
I agree with you, and I don't think that it would happen either. Because it happened because of World War II and how the Germans lost, and that kind of changed them because the Germans blamed the Jews for it.
I agree with all of you because I think people would get the idea if they didn't like this one person's religion, then they might get all the people that have that religion and put them in these prisons or camps.
I agree with all of you, but I would also like to add, I think genocide in today's world would be a lot more common because the Genocide Act would have never been passed to make genocide illegal and a war crime for most countries.
I agree and disagree with all of you guys because I feel like the Holocaust had a bigger impact in like Germany and that stuff because it and Poland and that stuff because it happened there, but it didn't have as a big impact on other countries as it did there. So
I think that if the Holocaust never happened, in our country might have started Holocaust, but it would be called something else because it's a different country.
I would like to say that if the Holocaust never happened, I think that Germany would just be stuck on the fact for most of their history that they lost
the Great War, and I think Germans and Jews would still be close, and I still think the Holocaust kind of brought them closer, and I think they learned from their mistake in the past. Brought them closer.
I agree with Kaden, and I also think that Hitler wouldn't come to power because he was somebody who started the Holocaust.
I agree with Cooper because Hitler started the Holocaust, and if there wasn't any Holocaust, he would have to be not there, just something.
Well, I think if the Holocaust didn't happen, something like the Holocaust would come around later, like with the U.S. and the Native Americans and something else, just Africa. There's a lot of genocide in Africa.
And I'm gonna hook back, I'm gonna wrap it up because I realized I forgot to put our timer on, so I was watching the clock, and so I'm gonna wrap you up in a way by saying that reminds me of the comment that you had made originally, that humanity in the end is all kind of the same. And so if it didn't happen at one time, are you saying that it would eventually have happened at another time?
Yeah.
Okay, that's an idea that our second round can pick up on if they want to. Let's do a quick review. Outside circle, what are some great things that happened on the inside circle? Right?
They made their discussion really good, they put good details.
They had details, meaning they elaborated on their opinions. Okay, good. Mason?
Yeah, people with their opinion on the topic.
They invited people in, yeah, good. Aiden?
There wasn't a long conversation between.
Yeah, they kept the discussion moving. Joey?
This between topics.
Okay, yeah, and they covered all the topics. Good, right?
They kind of like put their minds together and spoke what they thought.
Okay, good. Claire?
I could hear them really good.
Okay, volume, yeah, and that's important. We do need to hear everybody. If you can't hear them, you can't build on. Anything else? Anything that you on the outside circle will want to make sure you improve on as you go in? Good. Eye contact. Okay, explain that. What do you mean by that?
Like, maybe looking at the person that's talking or at the camera maybe. Or
Okay, I'd rather have it at the person. Do you feel people were kind of looking off into space as they were talking, or? No? Okay. Okay, so yeah, want to have good eye contact. But something else, right? I can't hear you.
I wasn't.
Oh, okay. Leslie?
like not have one person be like.
Okay, keeping it moving, yeah. All right, did we use textual examples and evidence a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, a little.
I would love to see you use more.
Yeah.
Okay, but you did a great job, you had a great discussion, very quickly and quietly, switch places. Yeah, well, no, don't just leave that there.
I'm just
My thought.
Alex.
So,
Come here.
All right. I will put the timer on this time. All right.
Okay.
You made it back. Go ahead.
Why do people think they're better than other people? So I think because maybe they probably want to feel like they're better than others.
People might think they're better than other people because they have like better stuff and like they just want to judge people and make them feel bad.
Yeah, I think that these ones act like kids, but yeah, don't really work out that well.
I think that some people judge people because some people think they're better than other people and that they're like all rich and stuff. But like, for example, the Germans might have thought that they were all this and that because they might have been more fortunate than the Jews.
I agree, and I would like to add or say that I think they do this because they like to compare themselves to others. Like, if another person has ragged clothes and the other person has like nice clothes, they might think the person with the better clothes on are better than them.
I agree with Claire because like the Germans thought they were all cool and like they were like rich and stuff and better than the Jews, so they treated them like they were.
Zoe, what's your opinion?
I said that they think they're more important than other people.
What did you think?
I thought they judged other people judge because they want to feel powerful.
I agree. And I also think that people just want to be better than other people because I think they want to be like the better people and get more stuff than other people.
From the book, they treated the Jews less than human in the camps, and then Bruno was living an ordinary life.
Another example from the book would be the Germans might have been a little bit jealous of the Jews for some reason. So that could have been a reason why they put the Jews in concentration camps because they were lower than the Jews maybe.
What are your thoughts on the topic?
I think that Hitler didn't think that the Jews were perfect because that's not how he grew up. He grew up as a blonde, and then he wanted all blonde people, so he got rid of all the Jews.
I think we all agree that the Germans like to judge the Jews. So let's move on to differences. What were the differences between Jews and Germans and why? I think some of it was religion, but not all of it. Because the Germans might have celebrated Christmas and the Jews might have celebrated Hanukkah. So that might have been a difference.
I agree with Claire that they had different religions, but also I think that they're not really that different because we are all human beings.
I agree with Mason, and I also think that they weren't that different either because everybody's different in their own ways and their own actions.
I agree with Ryan, but I also like to add that I think that the difference between them was like the Jews were treated bad and the Germans were treated good. I agree with Lexi because I think everybody is all human and you can't judge that, and everybody has their own personalities. So.
Zoe, what's your opinion?
What I said was like Jews were in camps and Germans weren't, because they were like the outsiders.
And what differences caused that difference?
Well, like the Germans were like more important and the Jews weren't.
So we all agree that everybody has their own personalities and there were some other differences. So let's move on. How does influence affect our daily lives? I think if someone influences you in a bad way,
like Hitler influenced all the Nazis and the Germans to hate the Jews, and so that affected the Germans in a negative way.
I agree with you, Claire, but I also think it affects us like how we act because Hitler like influenced his soldiers by like being rude to the Jews.
From the book, that Ishmael influenced Bruno to go into the camp to find his father.
I agree with Mason because Shmuel did influence. They both might have survived in that book if Shmuel hadn't influenced Bruno to go to the other side of the fence, because Shmuel and Bruno might not have gotten caught up in the march.
I kind of disagree because I think Shmuel would still be walking around because he's a, yeah.
I agree with Isaac because like they said they have like a whistle that they blow, and like if Shmuel heard that, he might have had to go.
What do you think, Trinity?
Well, I put that it like influence makes us more aware of what's happening to the world around us.
Alex, what do you think?
I think it affects what your choices are and what you do.
I agree with Alex because if somebody influences you to do like drugs, and you are influenced to do drugs, it can affect your life in a negative way.
Aiden, what do you think?
I think that there's good and bad influences, but most of the influences are bad, just like what Hitler did with the Nazis. And the good ones are like when people don't, like if people are hanging around good people and don't do bad things.
Do you think you would have recognized a bad influence like Hitler?
Yes.
Would have acted on it?
Oh no.
I don't think so. Because a lot of the German citizens didn't even know what was happening.
I think I would have recognized Hitler because he just had like an evil look, and I also might have not recognized it because all the Germans didn't recognize it as easily, but I think they would have done something if they knew that Hitler was going to do it. Okay, so let's move on to history. If the Holocaust never happened, would the world be how it is today? I think that the world would be a lot easier because the world would all get along, all the countries would, because the Germany and the Jewish might be not as bad as enemies, and it also would have, it's because the law of the genocide law wouldn't have been passed if that would happen.
I agree and disagree, but I think something like this could happen if it didn't happen earlier, because like we kind of like Cuba and everything like that, like they said like they were gonna bomb us and stuff, but it didn't happen, but it can happen later.
I think that the world won't be the way it is today because the Holocaust taught us a lesson. and that you should never do something like that to a bunch of people.
I agree with Mason because it did teach us a lesson it taught pretty much America to not do something that evil.
What is your opinion, Isaac?
I agree with both of you because a lot of times, like before that, people today are still kind of doing that with like all the hacking and stuff, and yeah.
I disagree with Isaac because hacking isn't really a genocide act, but
I agree, but I'd also like to add, I think the world would still be the same, but like the Jew and there would be like more Jews and then more.
I agree with Lexi because it would probably be the same because the Jews and the Germans might not even like have any connection or something, and so the world would still be the same.
What do you think, Alex?
The world wouldn't be the same because the Holocaust taught everyone a lesson about humanity.
Alrighty, very good.
Last sentence.
Outside circle, what are some good things that happen on the inside? Last?
They got to each topic and section and covered it pretty well.
Okay. Aubrey?
They invited people into it.
Invite people in, yeah. Jake?
I go very quickly.
Okay. Move smoothly or quickly through each topic. Yep, Cooper?
One person didn't take a whole.
Yeah, there wasn't anyone that was totally dominant. Okay, Katie, was that what you're gonna say? Anything else? Okay, what are some things that you hope next time you all improve on? Chloe?
Doing more examples from like the book.
Using more textual examples, yes, that's what builds that understanding, what grows the conversation and gets deeper into the topic. Cooper?
Less inviting people in.
Which means that what's happening, that you don't need to do that?
That everybody talks instead of having to get invited.
Yeah, that they want to talk, that they are assertive enough to talk themselves, yes. Chloe?
I think that some people like invited somebody else on before they even got to talk.
Oh, okay, so that was their talking, was inviting people in. All right. Okay, we're gonna come back after break and complete your rubrics and then get on to your evaluation. Good job. Bye.
I didn't show you how to this is where